An urgent appeal to American administration. Please don't meet with Dictator Hasina. I'm addressing this urgent message to senior officials of the United States government. You are aware that the fascist and illegitimate Prime Minister of Bangladesh Sheikh Hasina is currently visiting your capital, Washington, D.C. We have learned that she has been frantically trying to meet with senior officials of the United States government. We also have heard that a certain government of our South Asia region is making efforts to help organize such a meeting. Today, the overwhelming majority of Bangladeshi population is looking forward to the United States to assist us in gaining our freedom from utterly fascist and brutal rule of Hasina and her murderous cohorts within the ruling Awami League party and Bangladesh civil administration, law enforcement and judiciary. Already, the imposition of sanctions against Hasina's killing squad, the Rapid Action Battalion and its commanders has created the positive effect of dramatic reduction in the number of extrajudicial killings and unlawful abductions. This US action has helped to create much needed political space for the opposition. More recently, visa restriction actions by America are having a salutary effect in terms of restraining those people in the ruling coterie from committing acts prejudicial to holding the upcoming parliamentary elections in a free, fair and participatory manner. People of Bangladesh from all walks of life are massively celebrating the US actions. Today, after 15 long years of Hasina's undemocratic and tyrannical rule, sustained by political support and two-way corruption relationships with Russia and China, and to a great extent with India, people of Bangladesh are finally on the verge of regaining their lost democracy and human rights. Thanks much to American action, our political struggle has reached a crucial stage. This is not the time for any senior official of America to meet with the Belgrade Prime Minister Hasina. Highly placed US officials have already seen her numerous times, including at the United Nations last week. Nothing good came out of these meetings. Instead, she and her supporters are now busy spewing unmitigated hatred against the United States because of the recent visa action. You should recall that Hasina herself launched egregiously false propaganda against the United States by claiming that US demanded a military base in Bangladesh offshore St. Martin's Island. And her refusal to agree to this demand was the reason why the US wants her out. The US administration, including the State Department and the National Security, have categorically refuted Hasina's absurd claim. The primary reason why Hasina is seeking a meeting with senior officials of the American administration is to make a last-minute plea to allow her to stay in power by suspending and reversing American actions and let her rig the upcoming elections, as she had done in 2014 and 2018. She would perhaps argue that if she is pushed out of power, there will be a large-scale breakdown of law and order in Bangladesh, including attacks on the minority. She will say this will lead many of her supporters and numbers of minority community to flee the country and seek refuge in India. This is an utterly false argument. The ongoing opposition movement has been completely peaceful. It is the ruling party hooligans who have been committing atrocities against opposition protesters in collusion with law enforcement and judiciary. Also, many investigative reports have found that it has been the ruling Awami League thugs who perpetrated repeated atrocities upon the minorities in Bangladesh. I can provide you hundreds of evidences in support of my claim. In fact, this is the fear among many in Bangladesh, that if Hasina loses power, she will unleash her goons to try to create a law and order situation. This is why The recent US visa action is both topical and timely. America should do more to prevent Hasina and her henchmen from creating such a situation. I should remind you how Hasina uses opportunities to meet with senior officials of the US in a corrupt way to advance her position. Recently at G20 summit, President Biden was courteous and generous enough to take a selfie with Hasina and her daughter. In no time, Hasina's ministers and party leaders proclaimed that she has made a deal with the US at the highest level. Even they marched on the streets with the large banner with the selfie printed boldly thereon. This had the intended effect of raising the morale of her partymen and deflating the enthusiasm of the opposition. It was only the recent visa action that reversed the situation. If any senior American official meets with her at this stage, she will play the same dirty public relations trick for the same objective of boosting the morale of her murderous supporters and to pour cold water on the opposition movement. At a moment when the end of Hasina's fascist, undemocratic, and cruel rule is well within sight, and people of Bangladesh are thankfully acknowledging the most critical support America is giving to us in reclaiming our democracy and rights. The last thing you should do is to grant her an audience and thereby empower this brutal dictator to practice her filthy public relations. This is no time to see her.